Welcome to the Oracle reading for the Cancer full moon. It's happening on the 13th or 14th of January, depending on what part of the planet you're hailing from. Here in the UK, it's going to be about 10:30 p.m. on the 13th, so that should give you a clue of what day this full moon is showing up for you. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and as you just heard, and as you can see, I channel multi-dimensional energies through my body, both in the form of physical and vocal light language. This brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the energy that wants to come through in this reading. So at the time of recording, the ascendant is in the sign of Cancer. I only just checked it as I sat down to do it, so that was all very in alignment. The midheavens over in Pisces coming up to a conjunction with Neptune, and this is very much in alignment with the astrology. So I'm going to do a real quick summary of the astrology, and then we're going to get into these oracle cards. I always pull these before doing any transits, so they've sat here during the collective reading, the All 12 Signs series, and all of that energy has been coming through in those readings as well. It's very powerful what's come up here. And originally when I was shuffling these cards, I was like, I'm not going to have that many oracle cards because I always end up having a huge amount there. And then the decks kept saying, no, we need some more, we need some more. It's a big full moon that's going on here. And why is that? Well, there's two things going on. One, the nodes in Aries and Libra. Since July 2023, the South Node has been manifesting, the South Node in Libra has been manifesting in the sign of Cancer, has been building in the sign of Cancer, because the nodes in Aries and Libra are the activation points, the eclipses that start the cycles. Now, where that South Node's been manifesting has been over in Cancer, and it's not the easiest of transits. It's profound, it's phenomenal, but it's not the skip along the road kind of energy, right? It's the South Node is the inner experience, right? The releasing, the purging, the letting go. It's the tail of the dragon. It's releasing so many different structures within yourself and externally. And it's a deeper inner yin esoteric experience. It's more withdrawn. It's not the outward yang manifestation, which is the North Node, and that was also manifesting in Capricorn. So it's a condensing of the energy, right? Things falling away in order to leave you with what you need to then work on and bring depth and nuance to. But as I said, it's an inner experience. It's a sense of isolation from manifestation, from building out in the world. Perhaps in the way that you would have liked. You may have felt a little bit more withdrawn, a little more isolated in that Cancer area of your chart, but it was really facilitating the expansion of your intuition, right? You're not going to have this cycle for another 18 to 19 years when the nodes move back into the same positions that they are currently today at the time of recording. Here in the UK, really late in the evening, the nodes are going to change signs. So this full moon is honoring that cycle, is a closing out of a 1.5-year cycle that is part of an 18 to 19-year-old cycle, right? Where we've really been refining our intuition. We've been doing the heavy lifting. We've been doing the work. We've pulled structures away, and we've really got to the clarity of our own intuition. I've certainly noticed in my own practice this awareness that intuition comes in all forms, whether it's in alignment, or you get something, you make a mistake that then leads to something that is a situation in the future that you've actually facilitated through your precognitive intuition. Even if it looks like something went wrong and redirected you, it was facilitated. So just this hyper maturity around that intuitive body, and a maturity around the mothering instinct as well, because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is often linked into the maternal energy of not suffocating, not facilitating to the extent that others lose their agency, finding deeper ways of bringing nourishment, of finding that emotional flow, of meeting your own needs, because so many of the needs that you thought you had were falling away, in order for you to really go, okay, no, these are the core ones. These are what's going to serve me moving forward. So for example, say you had Cancer in the 6th house, you may have just found that jobs weren't happening, right? Work wasn't happening on the same level. That meant you then really got into the weeds of, what does work mean to me? how can I operate from a frequency that serves my longer term goals and my nourishment and my needs being met? And so you would have found that certain things would have fallen away. That was just an example that gave you the space to do the deep inner work. They've just moved my fingers around the labyrinth and put them at the center of the labyrinth. That sense of completion of the maze, right, that we've been navigating. They're now focusing on, I'll show you these cards in a second, on the horn of plenty that's on this appreciation card. All of these fruits and vegetables that have come to harvest. So some big powerful closing out here, right, with this full moon. But the nodes change signs before the full moon. So that Cancer energy with this full moon that's coming through is no longer fixed in the south node in Libra, manifesting in this sign, right? It's free of that. They're just doing some work on the stomach. Cancer rules the stomach. Oh god, it sounds like monks doing mantra chants. They're just putting my tips of my fingers to the third eye as they're doing this. Dosha. Here's this snake, which is arguably the head and tail of the dragon. Dishalama dishanama ushinima. Whoa, that was cool. I'm trying to figure out what that meant to me. It felt like a unification, right? So often we can focus on either the head or the tail, but they're both interlinked. They are energetically connected to each other. That the releasing that you've done in the sign of Cancer, which can be very fearful, very worrisome, it can lose itself in its emotional body and its sensitivity. And that Capricorn energy is very grounded, very stable, very solid. And we've been manifesting towards that. That's where the North Node has been expanding. That's giving us a very grounded energy in our body, in our bones. Capricorn rules the bones, of getting out of the fear state. I'm just thinking of like the Queen of Cups. For me, she's serenity. Right? I know the traditional way of looking at her is like over worrying, over fearing, smothering, all of that kind of stuff. For me, she's pure serenity. She can see into the future and she is not worried about it. In fact, she's so at peace with her environment and where she is in that moment, despite knowing everything that's happening in the future. She's just turning into the ocean, right? So there's this real sense of serenity that's being integrated here, right? This calming of that emotional body, the refinement of it, that's allowing us to build in the long term, right? I just heard the ritual, i.e. what just the transmission that's happened is bringing in and activating the words that I'm saying in reference to how I've been talking about this Cancer energy. And this, what's going on in this pile, which I will get to, I'm trying to keep this short. It feels very connected into what I've just spoken about. Maybe we'll just do this now. And then lead into the full moon itself. So there are so many cards here. I'm just going to flip them because Itala dianima o toela dianima o dialima di shanima o toelama dianima o to shanima dialama o toela diana. Right, okay. So let us begin with these gorgeous oracle cards. All the decks that I use are always in the description box if any of them take your fancy. So, dialima doela di shanima o toela dianima do shanima dianima o enema o emana enema o toena. So first up we have growing, falling apart, and genuinely just sums up that whole South Node energy of things feeling like they're falling apart, but what you're actually doing is growing. There is no new without shedding of the old. What can you weed from your garden to allow something new to grow? So this pile feels like the process that I've just talked about, the process that we are closing out. I mean, obviously we're always growing, but the intensity of that falling apart energy is not going to be in Cancer for quite some time. And so we've really collectively had a boost around our personal connection to our intuition. And this is a big setup for the amazing astrology that's happening this year, which I promise I'm going to do a series on, because it's wild and no one's ever seen anything like it. And the work that we're doing this year is going to transform us. It be like more than other years. The level of basically hardcore upgrades you can bring in this year is going to serve you, right? So there's an acknowledgement of needing to do the work. We're always doing the work, but like that commitment of trusting in the process and knowing, having a deep knowing that if we stick to this, mama, ishala diala madufa la dianima, di shinima. Speaking of mama, I do apologise. My nails are completely tinted yellow because I just made a carrot soup with a lot of turmeric in it. And it's very appropriate for this full moon in Cancer because it, as I said, the maternal energy, Cancer rules the stomach, this sense of the desire to give nourishment, the desire to nourish ourselves and tend to ourselves and mother ourselves in a really healthy way. Not in the way of like, mothers who always do all the cleaning and the ironing and the cooking and then their kids never learn anything. That's not the vibe. But I'm mothering myself, I'm mothering the person I live with. It's a healthy carrot soup with chickpeas in it and stuff like that. There's it's been simmering for ages in terms of that condensed nature of what we've been doing in the sign of Cancer, of really refining. It's like a tincture, a concentrate, like eau de parfum rather than eau de toilette, right? That the essential oils rather than the eau de toilette. So we need less. We need to give less, and because what we are giving has such a deeper resonance. And that doesn't mean we're going to give less, but essentially we're not having to throw everything at everything all the time. And then we have the crocodile. So this is what we've been channeling, what we've been doing. Resting, submerging, collecting energy, cooling off. The crocodile reminds us to step back from the external world and turn inward. Now is not the time for decisions, actions, or discussion. The crocodile's mantra is wait. That's interesting, the mantra came in, because that's what felt like was coming through in that transmission just a moment ago. This doesn't mean lying around hoping life's challenges will disappear. The crocodile is much smarter than that. It means intentionally withdrawing, gathering our awareness, observing and building energy. Fill up the vital reservoirs so your next moves come from a place of wisdom and power. When in balance, wise, patient, a silent powerhouse. When out of balance, feels stuck, lashes out. Now that can be a knock-on effect of what's been going on in Cancer, of like that restriction, that sense of isolation and not seeing the outward yang manifestation, so thinking that you're stuck, and then those emotions getting really heightened because they're being stripped back. Enema dishanimo hienimo o tuela madianima oela madianima o tuela. And underneath this energy, we have elders, spiritual mentoring, equality, stability, wisdom, experience, counsels. I love that for the Cancer energy of bringing in all the elders that have walked before us, that understanding. That South Node is big elder energy, in my opinion. It's very yin in nature. That sense of pause, that sense of slowing down, and we struggle with that in the environment that we're in because we're very productive, go, very yang energy, the collective. That we think that when we're pausing, when we're stopping, when things aren't manifesting, then it's all going wrong. When you know what we need more than anything else? Sleep, rest, to reboot the body. There are lymph nodes in the brain that do not flush out the toxins unless we're sleeping. So we essentially cook our brain if we don't sleep. I think we can go without food and water longer than we can go without sleep. Itala dialima, or obviously the moon, dreams, the intuitive body. Itala dialima. We've been resting, recalibrating that intuitive body. We've been gathering wisdom pouring through us from the elders, right? Cancer can be very clannish, right? That sense of the community, the ancestors, the elders, the lineage, right? And I love that that's showing up, because it's saying we've all had support, even if it's been difficult, that we've had a lot of support and we've been able to step into that wisdom probably easier than we would have done in any other experience. And I love the stability energy with this. Of that sense of, through this process of healing the emotional body, condensing it, refining it, we're now stable in our emotional body. We're not drowning in the ocean of our emotions. Take a break from cheering and jeering at the circus. Haven't you noticed that it's always been this way? No one is forcing you to participate. You can always step outside and do something else. Again, really like highlighting the journey that we've gone on with that Cancer refinement, that getting out of the drama, right? Having that full range of the emotions sort of concentrate, that's allowing, again, that wisdom to come through of, no, I can just separate myself from this. I don't need to engage. It's like, I don't know, there's quite a few people that I've noticed have like switched off from the internet, and they're just like, it's not a thing. It's really not a thing. It's not as significant as you know, sitting with a loved one and eating a lovely meal. Of like all the chaos. We can externalize our emotional body to the outside world in such a level that does us a disservice and actually doesn't serve the collective consciousness in any way, shape or form. But then we feel guilt for not paying attention to all the war, famine, destruction that's going on. Unless we come about that from a place of abundance and a place of creativity, it's just feeding into the cycle. That I love this vibe. I know it's the closing out of the cycle, but it's just really lovely to see it reflect what's been going on for us all and where we're headed with it. Causing pain for others would attract pain to me. The flawed premise, my groups, our way of life is the only correct way, therefore all other ways must be stopped, is the basis of the majority of the unhappiness on your planet. Not only do those beings pushed against feel the pain, but those doing the pushing feel it as well. In fact, the unhappiest, least fulfilled amongst you are those who are pushing against others, because in doing so, you are disallowing the most important relationship of all, the relationship between you and you. So again, that's referencing the externalization and also the clannish nature of Cancer, of the angst of it all, and the my way or the highway, the my emotions top trump your emotions on the level of who's feeling the worst, that kind of stuff, where you're, as I said, you're externalizing, you needing your emotions to be met by your clan, you're needing your emotions to be met by other people, but they're different from you, so you don't feel that way, so you're pushing against them. Again, all externalization of of your emotional body, which just doesn't serve us. And you know, there's so much division going on, right? It's all part of the polarity upgrade. Letting go of the old duality mindset in a way that isn't appreciative of both sides of the same coin. That there's been some deep mother wounds, like collective mother wounds, deep home wounds, deep safety wounds, deep emotional wounds that have come up. And we're coming to that conclusion that when we focus on that, we aren't serving ourselves. It's getting in the way of the joy of our existence. And then we have Saint Germain. Move beyond drama, create your own path, make room for good energy. So kind of just summing up exactly what I've just said. I love it when that happens, because it's like, okay, it's not just me here. Saint Germain was born in France in the 18th century and is said to have been given a new identity because he was the love child of two very powerful people. He was well educated and able to rub shoulders with royalty. He was also deeply interested in magic, alchemy, and the cosmos, and able to perform real-life miracles and turn lead into gold. Now he helps us move beyond social limitations, to connect with the right people for the highest good. He's still a master alchemist, and to help us to turn whatever is leaden in our life. That's appropriate, because today I'm recording this on Saturn's Day, on Saturday, and Saturn is lead. Into something that is golden. And we do in fact have the gold card. His twin flame is Lady Portia, and he is the keeper of the violet flame, a powerful etheric retreat where we can release karma. Karma is the spiritual law of cause and effect. We experience many levels of karma. Some we inherit from our family, and some from the people we keep helping out of problems they keep creating. That is one, the fam, the clan energy, as well as the smothering, the enabling energy. The amount of people in my life who I love near and dear, who I was facilitating out of their own agency, and I thought I was helping, is quite, there's a list, because I've had abandonment issues my whole life. That no, I don't want to leave anyone left behind. I want everyone to feel like my home is always a place that people can come and feel safe and be restored. That I don't want anyone left out in the cold. But sometimes when we mother in that way, that goes to the point of lacking the agency, of disrespecting the I am of their soul contracts and the journey that they're on, like pushing it to an extreme. That North Node in Aries has wanting us to go beyond that. And so it links into this South Node energy of the release of the smothering side of it, that disallows the agency of yourself and that of others. Saint Germain is here now to clear your energy so that you no longer have the weight of the world or your loved ones on your shoulders. Be aware that the old pattern is leaving your life and creating space for something more loving to enter. Visualize yourself surrounded by a fiery violet cloak to release all the karma you no longer need. Oh, interesting. That the more we attach ourselves and keep holding on to that karma, we're just leading it down the path with us. That's really interesting. Like as in, like, follow the leader, and then you just get stacks and stacks. That was cool. So, on top of this, we have the higher heart activation. Dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. So following on from the big release that we've got is actually allowing more space in our heart and a more loving environment for us to create for ourselves and for those around us that serves the agency, Aries, I am energy of everybody. Right? Rather than judging what people are doing and worrying what people are doing. That's the thing, the worry. What is that worry doing? Are you going to go and do something? Or are you just going to sit and worry and cause your stomach to go into knots? What are you going to do about it, right? How is that helpful? It is poison. So I cut the deck while that transmission was coming through, that activation code, and we got the King of Swords, which is a real clarity of mind, right? So rather than the worry, the scattered energy, you're either going to go up and do the thing that you need to do to facilitate whatever worry and fear that you can help with, or your clarity of that mind is going, no, done. And I say that as someone who has been doing constant work on the worry that I have. Because I'm so aware of how it dysregulates my nervous system, it essentially F's me up big time, and I know it's poison and I've got to stop. And it takes daily practice, daily practice to work through that, to be loving and kind to yourself, to know your own value, to understand that this energy you can transmute and shift it into a different direction. You know, sometimes it's good to go busy yourself with something rather than sitting in your mind and worrying and getting that all built up within you. Dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. The higher heart chakra is the most ascended form of the heart chakra. It's found in the center of the chest in the heart region and is seen clairvoyantly as a pink color. The reason that this energy center is pink is because it is the opposite complementary of green, which is red with the white light of spirit. Through this stargate of the heart, we have the potential to connect with divine love, the love that exists in all things, and experience the heaven within. This card transports us to the higher heart space where we can recognize that love is not an external essence, but a light we hold within. It has been there throughout every lifetime. When the higher heart becomes active, it's a recognition that the search for love has ended and the evacuation of the heart has finally begun. Excavation, not evacuation. The excavation of the heart. Very different meaning. But evacuation of all the things that I've just been talking about. They're doing some work around the heart area, not the heart chakra. They're like sort of going like that on it, like waking up. Now at the third eye. Now at the heart chakra. I can feel like energy coming up through my throat now. You have experienced much fear, separation and heartache in your lifetime. This has encouraged you to close off and shield yourself from possible hurt. For a long time you've been trying to open yourself back up, but have been concerned about being far too vulnerable. This card shows you have realized that love isn't something you have to work for or search for, but your divine inheritance. You've also recognized that this energy isn't something that comes through relationships or external experiences, but is your natural state of being. The more you close off from your true self. The more you drop your shields, the more love is revealed. The more you express the love you are, the more it is reflected back to you. Love is your truth. Atianima, otoinia dashanama, atanama, otoela, dianima, 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 dianima. Okay, so they've put, this is the card of protection here. And obviously we've got a maternal figure with her babes, right? This is the moon in Aries. So I like this, that this is like the one very fiery protection of the journey that we've been on, but also that acknowledgement of she's accepting the I am of them, but still protecting them, right? But not allowing a level of trust for them to experience their own things, while still always being there should they truly need it. Like the real truth of good maternal energy. Dianima otoela dishinia dianima otoela diata dianima dufana ana duenama dianima. Next up we have the king, the ruler, the commander, the emperor. Oh, hi Aries. If our lives are imagined as a kingdom containing the entire spectrum of human experience, the king presides over it all. Through the lens of the king, we assess the state of our land, make decisions and rule accordingly. Therefore, the king must be thoroughly and regularly vetted so as to avoid corruption. Recognize the dual nature of the king. He's either seated in benevolence and strength, guiding you towards peace, or he is oppressing the weak out of the need to control. There is not much middle ground. Some think of the king as the ultimate expression of the ego, yet the great kings of mythology and history serve from an egoless place. They take their throne with grace and humility, knowing the divine uses them as a channel to heal deep and long-standing discrepancies in the kingdom. When light, benevolence, divine leadership, service, nobility. The king is necessary. He is a bridge between the eternal and the day-to-day. I really like that it's coming through this work, right? Of this very yang energy from all of this yin experience, of you really knowing what it is that you need and how you want to act now with this refinement, that sense of grace and humility, right? Of healing. We've been through this act of surrender, this inner act, we've been healing long-standing discrepancies in our own kingdoms, right? And for the collective on that sort of bigger energy. But yeah, no, I really enjoy that energy coming in of it's words. The king, obviously a masculine energy. This is not sex specific. This is the the yang energy of the outward manifestation, the go, the activation, itoela, but it has to come from this yin energy. So I really love that we've got all of this. We've worked through all this. We've done some deep healing, and now we're more sovereign in our nature as well, healing a lot of the maternal wounds. Itala, diala, Mars is currently retrograde, conjunct this moon, doing that very thing as well. Itala, diala, madoela. And then we have inheritance and appreciation. So remember, they were doing work with the labyrinth and bringing us to the horn of plenty. And again, this is opening up a deeper appreciation for our own existence, for our own life, outside of fear, outside of worry and scarcity. Of really setting up the energy around what's going to unfold this year, of heightened activations around faith and trust and abundance and miracles and magic, right? And feeling good in the 3D world, because we're more connected to source, more connected back to ourselves, and this clearing of our intuitive personal connection is facilitating, allowing us to have trust in our intuition, allowing us to have trust in what we're observing and how we're feeling about it, rather than wading through all the distortions. Now this card showed up in the Capricorn new moon oracle reading as well. So, and there's also another card that did, and it's that's been happening more and more, where the new and the full moons are connecting together at a stronger frequency. This is from the Rumi's Gift oracle deck by Honarvar. Rumi was a Sufi mystic, and the Sufis broke against the traditional forms of Islam. They got drunk, they danced, they wrote poems about love in their connection to the divine. So they were mavericks of their time. Come, I'll show you the enchanted garden of your heart. Once you enter, you become the fragrance of flowers, unafraid of the prickle of the thorns. You see that when you burn like the oil in the lamp, you confide in darkness, and it welcomes you and embraces your light. You become both the lion and the prey, both faith and idolatry, and the sweet kiss that discovers honey in each bitterness. Like the cure that has taken away the pain, you will give your life and become life itself. That is so beautiful. That is a beautiful summary of that condensing, that maturity of our emotional body. And we've been doing a lot of work on this over the last year. It's come through in a lot of the oracle readings of, we're able to look in the darkness and not see it in the stereotypical way in which we imagine. We're able to honor the polarity of light and dark, life and death, day and night, order and chaos, right? All of those things, and understand that they are tools and resources, and they are within us and they are without us. And when we hide from them, When we try and soften everything and make everything lovely, that's when everything gets loud. We're in this place where we're coming to a deeper understanding of the multifaceted nature of our being, that we can hold space for certain things, but they don't necessarily have to entangle within us in the same way. I was talking about this in I think it was the Aries reading, that I have noticed an increase in my negative talk in my brain, and it used to be 24/7 back in the day. It chilled out for a while, for ages, and then it's come back with a vengeance. But it's not attached to me. It's going on, but it's not, I'm not feeling it. It's not enmeshed in who I am. And I've been really enjoying that process, because it's letting me know of the journey that I've been on, that this has no longer got such a hold over me. I can appreciate it and understand it, but I'm no longer enmeshed in that heaviness, right? And when we see the shadow, when we see the bitterness, actually bitter food's really, really, really good for you. Exactly that. And we go into, oh my God, no, get it away from me. That doesn't, we are out of balance. We are going to extremes. We want to be in balance in how we then are able to then utilize everything around us and really come into a space of non-conflict, which then allows the truth of ourselves to come out. That's such a beautiful ending to the level up that we've done in the sign of Cancer. Dialima, dialima. Right, so this all feels like the full moon energy that's acknowledging this, but we're right. So let's go back to the astrology quickly. How am I doing? Okay, I think this is just going to be a long one. Let's just be real. This full moon is conjunct Mars retrograde. I've done a Mars retrograde series. Oh, by the way, housekeeping. Oh, if you want a personal reading based on the Mars retrograde, they are 50% off. Contact me directly if you want to take me up on that offer. There is a competition at the moment. You might want to go check out my latest short. I'm going to do another short based on the Cancer full moon as well. Essentially, if you leave a comment in any of the videos, it would be lovely if you left a comment about what helps you build for the long term, because we're doing it over Capricorn season. But I'm probably just going to throw everybody in there who's left a comment. There are 3 personal readings up to grabs. You got until the 19th of January to enter. And I've also set up a new channel where it's a lot more free for all. There's lots of other decks. It's not astrology based, so fixed in that way. Lots of channeling, lots of playfulness, lots of transmissions, right? So it's like activation codes. My face is there. I'm on camera. So I've linked that into, it'll come up on the homepage if you feel inclined. They're shorter videos. It's where I get to be a bit more fun and creative. As much as I love these, there's a regiment to it, whereas the other channels are a little more freefall. Anyway, back to Mars being retrograde. Conjunct this moon, trining the North Node in Pisces and Neptune, sextiling Uranus over in Taurus by degree. We've got lots of sextiles and trines, and what does that mean? Well, they are free-flowing, soft aspects ruled by Jupiter and Venus. So wisdom, faith, knowing, elevation, integration, expansion, abundance, opportunities, luck, creativity, love, harmony, connection, all of those things are all funneling into this moon and the sun. Now, it's making sun and the moon are making harmonious aspects to Uranus by degree. There's such a big liberation energy coming through with this moon. I've done a collective reading. I've broken down this in more detail, but Uranus wants you to walk your own path. And a lot of our emotional responses and our rigidity in our expectations of the long-term plan, Capricorn, can get in our way of being present in the now, in our physical vessel, Taurus. We're releasing a lot of bonds around that and getting very novel new ideas of how to create in the 3D world based on the work that we've done and this full moon formation. Mars conjunct the moon. Mars conjunct the moon in Cancer, very intuitively guided, right? When you're doing something, you'll get really quick intuition of what you need to do next. It's not about forcing it or planning or pushing it. This is all yin energy. It's soft surrender. Allow the truth of you to come through from that softness, from that observation, from that depth, rather than the worry and the fear. So Mars and Uranus, very independent. Mars, one, retrograde, so you may go back and forth over certain things, but you will find energetic jewels, gems, jigsaw pieces that are going to serve the boost of the long-term integration. Uranus, again, as I said, really allowing your intuition to be free of certain things and then bringing in a higher activation code around your intuition, around how your actions are going to be guided towards that which gives you nourishment and that which fulfills your needs, right? Rather than the distortions. North Node in Pisces conjunct Neptune. Neptune's about bringing different realities into our own, right? Bringing source in, bringing that mystical energy in, the unconditional love in, shaking up delusions. North Node expands. It's the head of the dragon. It's where we're headed. It amplifies energy. And what I love about this moon is, one, it's honoring the closing out of the previous nodal cycle and then being directly linked into the next one. Heightened intuition, heightened co-creation, synchronicities, messages from source, and our capacity to find the vision and put it into practice for our long-term goals. Right, okay, so that was a nutshell astrology. I go into way more detail in the collective reading, so go check that out if you haven't caught it already, if you've got the time and you feel so inclined. So this was one of the other cards that showed up in the Capricorn new moon, right? And that new moon was, you know, the same kind of vibe with this one of like, that's where the North Node was manifesting. So we're working with big eclipse energy and we've got initiation. So this is the fresh energy that's coming in with this full moon that is no longer where the South Node in Libra is manifesting. Going deeper, the interdimensional scavenger hunt begins. We're going to remember that life is a magical, intention-driven scavenger hunt. That means if we don't have the first clue right, the rest of it can be kind of confusing. As a result, sometimes we can get stuck. If we reframe this and take a break to track our clues and map our adventure, we may find wonder in the corners and insight in the divine timing. We should probably also take some of that. This feels like that Mars retrograde of like having to go back a bit in order to... Okay, this is reminding me of two things that have been popping up quite a lot before I started this reading. I was singing... I've been looking after my friend's 3-year-old, and we've gone to like group kid stuff, like storytelling stuff, and there's always songs involved, and there's a song at the end that's like the going home song, and I just kept singing time to go home, time to go home, over and over and over and over and over again. And that's following on from lots of downloads around soul retrieval. Di-sha. Di-sha. Di... Excuse me. Di-sha. What? That. They just put that rainbow, right, with the thread through my crown chakra. Di-shania. And that's what this card is feeling like, right? That we are reclaiming aspects of our soul and bringing them back home. And I think it's because there's a lot of big heart opening energy going on. We should probably also take some of that divine timing to write things down. This makes it easier to track our clues and determine where we have gotten off course. Where did we get stuck? Sometimes stuck is a redirect from source or our soul. The road of magic comes with initiation. Initiation can be defined as the beginning of something. It isn't anything to be afraid of. It's part of the journey. It's part of remembering. Initiation is also defined as the admission of someone into a secret society or group. This is a rite of magic. Welcome, initiate. Think of what initiations may be at work in your own life. So overall, there's this sense of, we've done the big lifting, right? Not that I'm going to say that there's never going to be big lifting again in the sign of Cancer, but we've done a big lift here. And now we're stepping into this new frequency. And in the All 12 Sign series, predominantly, the cards and the astrology and the channeled messages were like pointing in the direction of the past and going, look at what's ended, right? Observe it. and then realize you're in a new frequency, right? You've started a new cycle of initiation into the next level. Itara dialama otoela dianima 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 dianima. Dishanim. Dialama otoela dianima dialima dialima. Right, so we're going to go with these 3 lovely cards from Kim Krantz's The World Unknown Alchemy deck. And we've got Uranus covering it all, but I'm going to go with gold first, right? Because it wanted to go over this card, which I've just read. Illumination, splendor, culmination. So we've got an initiation and a culmination. One, honouring the work that we've done and where we're headed next. The alchemist gold is no ordinary gold. It is not found in rings or coins or necklaces. It is the substance buried deep within, sometimes referred to as the gold of the wise, philosophic gold, the ethereal stone, or the divine quintessence, amongst countless other names. For our purpose we seek not the physical metal, but the mystical essence within each alchemist. How do we recognize it? It mimics qualities of the metal itself, soft and radiant, and its planetary counterpart, the sun, warm and bright. It is no wonder gold is associated with the heart. We've got a lot of heart energy coming in. When this card arrives, there is something of incredible value at hand. It is marvelous and rare. Cherish it. Get to know its properties and its source. The gold card carries a distinct shadow. If mistaken for purely physical material, it can lead to greed and excess, causing the alchemists to lose their way. Reverence is the key. It says to ponder every path as a noble path. Again, that's going back to moving away from distorted maternal energy and honoring the I am of our own journey and that of people around us, and it just clears up so much space for us to co-create. In some wisdom traditions, gold is seen as nectar, a sap, a honey-like substance coming from trees, bees, and even the pineal gland. Open yourself to gold's infinite sources. So what we're initiating in is this golden energy, is that sun, is that warmth, is that vibrancy, is that heart energy. Otula dishana dialima atishanima atishanama dianima. Right, underneath one of these cards we've got Sirius star blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. Right, so rather than that inner experience we've just been talking about, this is now the new cycle of emerging from that dynamic. Sirius is the brightest star in the sky and was the utmost importance to the ancient Egyptians. In fact, our current new year was celebrated as the coming of Sopdet, the goddess queen of Sirius, as during the last week of December, Sirius can be found high in the sky between midnight and dawn. This star system is the home of a race of humanoid beings who most likely live in the dimension higher than our own. It is believed that these beings can be contacted through spiritual practice. Receiving high-frequency spiritual downloads. When this card comes to us, it helps us find light in moments of darkness and uncertainty, and to continue on. You might even have a sense of coming home. The message that comes with this gateway is a giant yes. It brings the energy of a wishing on a star and a seeing that wish come true. This is a time for you to move forward with any projects or ideas that you have felt called to carry out. There is an energy of positivity, abundance, and excitement surrounding you at this time. Whatever dreams you've been revisiting recently aren't dreams, but premonitions. Know that whatever you're connecting with on the inside is soon to be something you'll be experiencing in the physical. Again, that inner experience, and now we're moving that outward. So think about what you desire instead of what you fear. See yourself celebrating as if your wildest dreams have come true. As you do so, you'll be creating the perfect energy for them to manifest in your world. Ooh! Ooh, here for that. We've actually got 2 cards linked into the Sirius energy. So we've got some big support coming in from that team. Itala dusha dushanima Yanima do et anima do mina dishinima 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 just put the happy Buddha and the Buddha energy into my heart space, which I'm here for. So that was underneath Earth's heart. How many references to the heart are we going to get, right? That's just doubly confirming the soothing, the balm, the serenity that we're bringing in with this full moon. That's that, remember that connection to the North Node and Neptune, of bringing that unconditional love into our intuitive body, into our actions, into our vision, and that great liberation away from our sense of disconnect and our abandonment issues, right? Of the rejection of source, we're all here by ourselves and we have no support. No, we've got support everywhere in so many ways. I've been feeling it so strongly and things have been going wrong. I'm going to talk about it in the and then sorting themselves out very quickly in the nodal axis series in Pisces and Virgo, because it's very much linked into that. And I haven't had to push at anything, and I just feel very, 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 and even though I've been channeling for nearly 4 years, like with the physical movements, there's always been this sense of separation and yet deep-rooted connection. That deep-rooted thing that's always been inside of me is getting louder and louder and louder and louder and louder and louder and louder, where I can just feel it in my body now, rather than the high anxiety and the disconnect and the numbness. Like my physical vessel has been numb for most of my life, right? Except in very certain moments of like not being able to feel anything, really, not feeling alive very much. And it's been an interesting journey reconnecting back to that, and finding, the more that I find more meaning in my life, more depth in my life, and in the small things and the surrendering and the trusting, the more I'm feeling vibrant in my energy. And it's just getting louder and louder and louder, of like this deep work that's happened and shifted in my energetic field that is allowing me to connect with faith and trust to source and believe. And that is very much at play here in the astrology, in this moon and this whole year. It's just wild. I'm so here for it. Itoela dianima, Earth's heart, depth, pulse, buried treasure. Amidst our phenomenal scientific pursuits, we have yet to journey to the core of the earth. We can only suppose what is there. Such is the mystery of the Coverum Terra card. It is related to the archetypal image of the cave and the fourth chakra located at the heart. This card appears when there is something blossoming deep within that requires our attention, our tending to. I mean, I didn't know that that's what this card was going to say, so it's really interesting. I've talked about this thing that's emerged from the root of me, that is getting more and more embodied. And while I was saying, I was like, it feels like this card, even though it wasn't this, words. Yeah, this sorry. Sometimes when you're channeling in 5 million different ways, you then gotta get back into your sort of very small little human space of like, I'm not a real human being. I'm not a real person. As well as being a bibbling fool. It could be a new love, a way of serving others, or an offering to the planet and its resources. In our chemical test, Coverum Terra roughly translates to Earth is the true heart. Oh, sorry. I'm not looking while I'm holding it. The journey of discovery will take you through many layers, slowly revealing her gifts. This is proof of Earth's longing to provide. This is the Great Mother after all. To teach. You've already felt the pulse of the Earth's heart. Now it's time to listen, to be a student of her wisdom. This card can be read as a direct call to reconnect with the earth itself. Sit or walk in nature, perhaps visiting your favourite spot. Can go there. If you can't get there, sit and visualise. I mean, that is just such a beautiful like the personal heart, the heart of the earth, the mothering energy, the big maternal energy coming through, where there is wisdom here, where there is stability, where there is care. But there's so much surrender in these cards. There's so much allowing us to soften, allowing us to be in that flow state rather than the planning and the worrying and the outward activation. That's coming over here, where we're then from this surrender. Remember, all of this is yin, earth and water, which are both yin signs. That's where the instinct comes through, from this heart space. Itoela di anima, otoela. Now, finally, we have Uranus, and as I said, is making, by degree, harmonious aspects to the moon and the sun. Itoela di anima, otoela. Dishala di anima. Awakening, brilliance, individualism. When Uranus strikes, we're in for a surprise, not in the outer world, but in ourselves. What wasn't possible before is possible now, thanks to Uranus and its ability to shatter our preconceptions. This shift in perspective, whoa, sorry, I need to get like a thing here that I can just plug these into. This shift in perspective or identity brings newfound freedom and opens up dormant energy. I just heard we are pulling up the energy from the earth, from the center of the earth, into your own personal dormant energy and amplifying it. To help work with this energy, go get barefoot on the ground. I just heard that. I just heard for some of you may feel a heartache during this process, but trust and know it's kind of cracking that open. And that's another thing that I've really felt, and I've been told this message for a while now, that the work I have to do is on opening up my heart, and it's felt like the layers of this are cracking open and expanding and getting wider. So I'm really here for all this heart stuff, because the more that we're operating from that place, truly, madly, deeply, and it takes a damn long time to get there. There was a card about having our walls up, of being vulnerable, of being in pain, and how we're stripping ourselves of that. And this is all this Pisces, Neptune energy. And that Uranian energy of like the great liberator. For an alchemist, this may be experienced as a long-awaited aha moment or a sudden stroke of genius. Inventions and innovations are born under Uranus energy. This card may also appear to show us what is particularly unique about ourselves or another. A seemingly random or idiosyncratic quality may end up being the secret ingredient needed in the laboratory. The alchemist knows that this radical energy isn't sustainable, and so the work is to show up each day whether or not Uranus strikes. Uranus is aligned with the story of Prometheus, the god of fire. Consider his myth and relate it to your own story. In what instances have you been Prometheus-like? But overall, like that sense of clearing the stagnant energy, liberating us of that, and bringing up that which was dormant within us all along. That unearthing from the earth's heart. Right, so next row we have Moon Maiden, New Beginnings. So even though this is a full moon, we get a download with it and we upgrade, and this is what we're working with. I find that new beginnings are everywhere. It's very rarely a full completion. So this energy is all taking us up to the Cancer new moon in Cancer season. I think I forgot to mention that. New ideas, beginnings, curiosity. Hello, Uranus vibes. The Moon Maiden arrives to offer you a new beginning, a new face and facet of yourself that is aching to be shown to the world. Those qualities that you've been quietly cultivating are ready for the limelight. This is all so... this is just... I love it when all the cards are like, yep. The secrecy was important, for it protected your new face and kept what was precious close to your heart. But now it is time to come forward in full splendor. Announce the new you to yourself first. Reveal it slowly to the world, like the waxing moon. Allow others to be surprised by how mature and grown up this side of you is. Now it is time to set yourself free. The Moon Maiden belongs only to herself. She is summoning the parts of you that challenge convention and refuse to be intimidated, and that cannot be tamed or put inside a golden cage. The Moon Maiden invites you to shine with your own light, to have radiant curiosity, and to ask anyone who offers you a mouthful of dogma, why do you believe this to be so? Question everything others assume is a given, and do not collude with the drama around you. So another nod to like the distancing from the drama of it all. Become an unpredictable being, yet an eminently reliable friend. The Moon Maiden invites you to answer only to yourself and reminds you that you are not anyone's property. Be true to your soul's calling, even as some around you in a relationship or job want to capture your light inside a bottle. You know how to rise to the occasion just as unfailingly as the moon does. When the time comes, you'll return to darkness and become enshrouded in mystery until you are ready to return. But for now, we are emerging from the light. And I love how it was bringing in such Iranian energy, which, as I said, it's exact by degree for this moon. So, and I felt it in so many of the readings. It was just like electricity running through my veins, high energy. Itoela diala mo o toela dialima isha de moela diani moi tianima. And then with this card, we have Horseman, Herald of Change. Good news, caution, Herald of Change. When the Horseman appears, he is inviting you to spread the good news. Everyone already knows the bad news. Your task is to point out the beautiful when others see only the ugly. Note the possible, no matter how implausible it may be. This is the delusional vibe we're embodying this year with the North Node in Pisces, with Neptune. Is just so much that's like, no. We've got to start opening up our pathways outside of the rational, finite, materialist mindset, which can often be seen in the extremes in the Virgo energy, and that is what's being released. We are getting delusional here. We're seeing the good, we're opening up to miracles without expectations or assumptions. We are just embodying ourselves in now from a place of surrender and activating of instinct and being in alignment with our co-creation from source. That's the vibe. I toela di anima o toela. This does not mean becoming giddy or blindly optimistic, but rather reminding yourself that every storm cloud has a silver lining. Become a herald of the positive. Put away the fatalistic attitude, the dire predictions, the dreadful expectations about the world or about your life. Declare the arrival of a new and better you. Proclaim that you have risen from the realms of the dead, woken from a long and dreadful slumber, and are back on the world stage. The show is on again. The Horseman cautions you to not allow your exuberance to become hollow or trivial. Be sure that there is substance to the news you spread, and you are willing to live up to the expectations you raise. The world will welcome you with open arms as you share an uplifting message. I mean, that's also bringing in a lot of some other themes that have come up already in this oracle reading. You know, I was talking about my own worry mind, my own the catastrophizing in our heads, right? This is like, no, let's redirect. Let's put the horse in the other direction and focus on the silver lining, right? Focus on something that you can pull from it that just takes you out of the cyclone of negativity. They're just putting the peacock at the third eye. Inner beauty, compassion, assimilator of anything. The beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It's easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outwardly indefinitely. This adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life, so it does not harbour resentment, conflict, or past pain within its psyche. The peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of the self and others. When in balance, confident, kind. Ishali Diala, Diana. Again, another card that's just kind of summed up a lot of that's already come through. So stop blowing my tiny little mind. I don't think I can cope with it. Right. Okay. Dianima. Okay. Yeah, because usually, because there's so many cards here, they all got a bit scrunched up, and so the energies are just putting them how they want to be. Right, so next up we have 2 cards from a beautiful deck that I bought the person that I live with for Christmas, but I've been using it extensively because I'm horrible. And these were the 2 cards that came out for this transit, for this full moon. And this card has come out, I think, in both of the transmissions that I've done on the Quantum Vibe Tarot. And this is the power of our intuition now, of our personal emotional body. This is the work that we've done and how we're now able to contain and hold our intuition at a higher level. You know, it's in between the third eye and the crown. And so there's a real sense of higher intuition, higher alignment, and our, as I said, just the capacity to be that vessel and be able to hold that up high, right? And be strong and firm in it. Itoela dialama doela. And then the card that comes with it feels very yang in its nature. Like, you know, for me, it's the surrender leads to the instinct, leads to the action of the true self, right? That through this work, through this capacity to hold the tapestry of the energy around us and intuit it and understand it, and that softness and surrender of observation that we have with intuition, this feels very much like then from that space, the activation of our instincts that are propelling us forward, guiding us forward. This feels very like a magician card right here, right? The sun is drawing us towards it. We're focused on the light and focused on to receive and also activate, because you see it's one hand, and then it's sort of this flaming sword of the clarity of the insight and being able to take action on it, right? The sword and the fire, the air and the fire. Of the clarity, remember that King of Swords that came through in that channel, and then the fire, the instincts of being able to create life from this clarity of our intuition, this heightened intuition, where we are both in action and open to receive. We are giving and we are taking. Itoela di alama o toela di anima, as within so without. Itana di anima o toshinima, inima doela di anima o toela. So I'm going to go with this one. And we have Messenger, Sirius energy, bringing harmony and balance. Itala, diali, moyela, diala. You are part of the lineage of souls who've dedicated their lifetimes to the upliftment of the planet, to returning time and time again to seed the light, the crystalline ones, the ones who are here to plant the sacredness of life back in, to honour both the sacred feminine and masculine, to usher deep reverence back in. Many ascended masters are thought to have been connected to the energy of Sirius, often appearing as shades of blue. They hold frequency of pure love and are here to help the masculine and feminine exist in harmony. So that's so interesting that this has gone under these 2 cards, which have felt very yin and yang. Itoela dialamo toela, which is not sex specific, by the way. They are in with all of us. Itoela dialamo doela dishinima dianima. They hold the frequency of pure love and are here to help the masculine and feminine exist in harmony, to ensure greater balance, to help us see. Oh, I love that with the Libra manifestation as well, right? Of that balance, of that inner equilibrium. To help us see that we're all connected and that the masculine and feminine energies exist within us all. Lol. You're being called to bring about this balance and harmony between the masculine and feminine, to be a guardian of harmony and a balance on earth. Think of the whales travelling around the globe, sharing love through their healing vibrational song. Their unique notes send balance and harmony to every corner of the planet. A rebalancing of the masculine and feminine is occurring worldwide. It is a resurgence of the sacred within all of us, a returning of the sacred union within, a rekindling of heaven and earth. You can begin to bring harmony and balance by creating it in your own life. The ripples will flow from there. You can honour and balance the sacred masculine and feminine energies within yourself and others. I feel like with that Messenger card, with the connection to the North Node in Pisces and Neptune, that we are going to be getting, and it because it's the moon and in the moon sign and our intuition, we are going to get a lot of downloads, a lot of messages that are serving this integration. Like we're not having to force it. We just got to be open, that open vessel. And the information comes through on which we take action on. So underneath that, we have cosmic circles. Create sacred space, embrace unlimited. Did I say embrace? Embrace. Oh, you know when words just don't sound like words anymore. Create sacred space, embrace unlimited possibilities. I mean, Ishala di anima. Again, that kind of energy that I was talking about, that we're moving into, of like, we are getting out of the finite expectations. Virgo power is that sense of being able to observe and then make executive decisions based on those observations. But sometimes what's going on with the astrology is like that we can't rely just on that. We've got to allow ourselves to be open to the unlimited possibilities, right? To that deep nourishment from source, that unconditional love. I like that creates a sacred space. So it might be calling you to maybe have a little part of where you live that is a little altar. You probably got an altar already, but you might not do. Or just this energy of creating time for sacred space for yourself, whether that be meditation or cooking yourself a nice meal, of honoring that and seeing all of these little things are part of the resonance and the meaning that we can find in the day-to-day that allows more of source to come in. Of knowing that everything that you do is a sacred act. The thread, the path, the vein, the circuit. Life is a tangle, so much happens simultaneously and circuitously, leaving us grappling for meaning and direction in a network of distractions. When we connect to the energy of the thread, however, we strike the deepest vein in the body. Our whole being responds to its tug. Meaning is pumped through our bloodstream. Our mind and spirits are lifted. We remember who we are and what we came into this world to do. Though this happens on the most profound level, it could be the simplest incident that activates the thread, a song, an image, a conversation heard in passing. No matter how confusing and multi-layered our modern lives become, if we are connected to the thread, we are free. Being tethered to it is the only anchor our heart requires. Oh, everyone pull a tarot card for the amount of times I've said heart. Ituela, dishalimo duela, dianima, dianima, ortuela, dianima, ortuela, dishinima, dofala, dianima, duela, dianima, ortuela. Hi. Lol. That's really... Remember what they were bringing this card in with the soul retrieval energy as well. And with that, again, it's like opening up doors and portals within us where we can reconnect back to source, where we can reconnect back to that resonance, that meaning, right? That make us feel alive. It's so interesting about that card when I was, I've never really mentioned fully that genuinely have felt very numb my entire life, because I thought this reality was bananas, and I was like, what is going on here? It felt so shallow, it felt hollow. And so for it to come up again in that card, very affirming, very nicely affirming. Ituela dishani motuela dianima utufala dianimo tuela dianima. Just heard, for those of you who've also experienced similar things, you needed to experience that to know what it is that is true feeling. Itala dianima otuela dianima, so you can have discernment. Itala dialima otuela dianima. And also just heard, and spend some time of your life figuring out how to make that happen, as in like finding different avenues beyond the conventional of life, of finding different pathways to help bring that life in, bring that higher dimensional energy in. Atuela dialimo duela dishalimo duela dianima dianima itanimo duela dianima ina ma otuela Dinah dishalimo duela dianima Okay, so next up we have, following that, right, this reconnection back to life, right, this thread, this anchor back to source. We have dolphins. Play. It's okay to relax, smile again, share your flow. Oh, that's lovely. That's how we're getting that thread activated. Allowing ourselves to breathe, allowing ourselves to feel joy and not feel guilt around it. You know, trusting in the flow, right? Sometimes we can be like, oh, this is a flow state, but it might go away. Not focusing on the lack. Itala dialamo ot ilama dishanima. Otoena. Itanimo toela dianima. Duenima. Okay. Next up, we have the Miriam, Sacred Vision. Choose to forgive others to heal. Choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. The Miriam, which means the beloved, are twin flame angels who come as one. They are mirror images of each other. They are the angels who appeared to Mary Magdalene in the tomb of Jesus after his passing. These angels spoke directly to Mary and helped her move beyond her grief so that she was able to commune with Jesus once more. They can help us move beyond the cloud of grief too. They can heal grievances of all kinds, including ones that have been created by religion or the idea that God does not love or accept us because of a mistake we once made. The Miriam helps us remember that we do not need to ask God for forgiveness because they never condemned us in the first place. I think that's the most profound thing of allowing us to feel joy and be in our flow, right? Because a lot of what that just said in terms of God filters down to family, society, the collective, right? The shame, are we good enough? Are we worthy of this love? Are we worthy of support and mothering and unconditional love? There's a real opportunity for you to move beyond grief or grievance at this time. The Miriam are here swirling their holy light all around you so that you can regain a sense of union with spirit. I think I just heard geese flying overhead. I like that sense of returning to warmer pastures. You are loved beyond words. Choose to see the light of God in everyone and everything, and to love without boundaries. Honor others and honor yourself with your sacred vision. You're in a space of deep healing and forgiveness. Choosing to see the light of the world will help you grow even more. Okay, they're wanting to do some integration work and tail work around the healing of this section, which is then opening up a portal of a greater connection to source and that vision, that sacred vision. Interestingly, like the third eye, right, of the inner knowing. While they're doing that, I'm going to read the Starborn, because that's what they're doing the healing and then pulling the vision into. The divine child, the star child, the destined. An elusive yet radiant aspect of the self, the Starborn archetype points to the cosmic spark of light that arrives with each being at birth. The moment the newborn crowns, the royal stars above are said to have constellated a unique shape that maps our path in the world. Hello, astrology. The idea of destiny is controversial, yet the Starborn naturally feels a sense of destination and purpose, aiming itself towards a future that is beyond the mundane. That's so funny. When this card appears, travel back to your birth story for clues and insight. What did you desire when you were young? Practice seeing your life from a mythic point of view rather than a series of logistics. Oh, I love that's just summing up kind of all the other stuff we've just been talking about. Read the story of the three fates and envisage yourself born under the stars with a unique destiny. I mean, we all have been, right? We don't need to envision it. It is just fact. When this card appears, don't be surprised if you receive a surge of desire for a long-lost dream. That can be from this lifetime or from many others, or your soul's dream. Yalama dianima toela di shanama. Itanama. Well, 2 cards to go. Next one, we have the whole self, right? So we have initiation and then the whole self. It's reintegration. It's, I was talking about soul retrieval, of getting back to a sense of integration within ourselves that is, as I say, clearing the freedom so we can be in alignment with our intuitive body and take action from that place beyond fear and into play. Ituela di anima, o tuela di anima, the vessel. You are an emotionally complex triangle. We are made up of 3 main components: mind, body, and spirit. Try to imagine that you're like a supercomputer. Your mind is the processor, your spirit is the electricity, and your body is the monitor. Our heart, everyone pull a tarot card. Iti anima, ola, dishanimo doela di anima, otoela diata anima, otoela di anima, otoela di anima. Dishanimo, otoela, dialamo, otoela di anima. Dianima or Twila. Our heart sends the messages, and I love that with that King of Swords that we got earlier. Our heart sends the messages and sets the tone, and the brain operates the controls. We're all just little triangles ourselves, of beings of mind, body, and spirit, a holy little trinity. The soul brings the power and the joy. People who are spiritual often radiate joy. They're spirited. When our beings need maintenance, we will know because we feel a lack of joy. We stop dancing because we're out of balance. We become a 2-sided triangle. That makes it easy to get out of sorts. You probably know that it's hard to navigate when you're out of balance, right? Not to mention when the waters of life get rough. So let's do a little recalibration now. Close your eyes, if that's comfortable for you, and imagine that you are a triangle or a pyramid, and that you are naming all 3 sides. Each is equal. Each has the same weight and focus. When you feel pointy and balanced, you may want to write down which parts of you were out of balance so that you can check on them more often. I think that's a really great tip to do moving forwards. But what I feel with this card, right, because it's the full moon download, is that this is going to unfold over 6 months, that we are getting into right balance with those 3 aspects, right? Mind, body, soul. That is activating this deeper inner flow and connection to source that's allowing more play and more joy in our lives, and accessing a clarity of mind and peace in the physical vessel. Final card. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's not crazy long. These videos used to be about 3 hours. The sweet waters, sensuality, romance, enjoyment, fertility, balance. What does that say about being out of balance? It's a good practice when you're feeling that, because what this is genuinely bringing is in a higher level of balance. The sweet waters are associated with the fresh waters of earth and with the sweet breast milk of the great mother. Oson is associated with water, fertility, sensuality, and love, and also with the colour yellow, honey, and bees. Oshun is the great mother goddess who brings balance to earth and to humanity, and she is also referred to as the mother of orphans. This is beautiful with the moon, with the Cancer energy, with the mother, the great earth mother, and now the waters. Oh, love it. In Italy's Villa d'Este de Trivoli near Rome, there is a famous fountain called the Fountain of Diana, or the Fountain of Mother Nature. It features a sculpture of the Roman goddess Diana as Mother Nature, with multiple breaths out of which flows sweet fresh waters. We know that we need fresh water to survive, and yet we're not protecting and appreciating the very thing that sustains us. When the waters are clean and protected, life is in balance and the world is fertile. This card is an invitation to enjoy the simple, sweet pleasures of life, to appreciate the fertility of nature all around you, to tend to your own garden and the sweet waters of your own life. Oh, that is such a beautiful card to end on, with that Cancer energy of the work that we've done and what that's bringing in, of this softness, this moving away from fear and worry, a heightened connection to our intuition, starting new liberating beginnings away from the old patterns, allowing ourselves to be connected to source and play. I'm here for it. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I hope it's resonated. Dalama dianima otoela, dianima ot inima ina. Diana, messages of love. Itoela dinima magic italamot ot inima ena dianima ot. This is the head of a dragon, by the way, can't quite see. Ishalimo doela dit at inuma totuma teachima tinima otoela. My loves, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, be honoured if you left me a comment. Itoela or hit that like button. But other than that, be good to yourselves, be good to those around you, safe travels and be well until we meet again.